So we're taking an overview look at SMS text messaging under the Android mobile phone platform. And in this example, we have both a Honeycomb tablet running here at the top, and also we have a level 4 API Google phone, which is basically a Droid version 1. So we have these two phones that are running on the desktop, and the first one is TCP/IP port 5556, and the other one is 5554. And basically we can use those as telephone numbers. The area code automatically gets appended to it, so that 5554 is actually the last four digits of a larger number, 15555215554. So in this example, we're taking a look at how we can write code that allows us to type in a mobile phone number and then type in a text message and then send that. And that's what we have here. So we have a sample phone number and we have a sample message. If we click on the button, we could see that show up here real briefly on the ticker tape, and then also we could see that message here display on the screen also. Now what we want to do is to take a look at the code behind this example and learn how it works. So in the Eclipse developer environment for Java, we'll pull up the Project Explorer window. We're looking at this project, AppDev Android SMS Text Messaging Project. We can see that there's an activity file written in Java. We can see that there's a generated file, and in this we're using the button ID and the edit text ID because the Java side needs to jump over that bridge to get to the markup language to see those objects here in main.xml. So in main.xml we have basically the user interface written in markup language, Android markup language, and again this looks like HTML, it just has a couple of different tag names. So the root of the document is linear layout here. We have a little title bar across the top of the screen as a text view. We have a table layout to organize into two rows, row number 1 and row number 2, the input control. So we have a label and we have an input box. We're calling this input box ET1_XML, and also we're calling it ET1_Java when we mirror the same object on the Java side. So here's the second edit text. We're calling it ET2XML here in the markup language, and we'll call it ET2_Java on the Java side. We have a button. The ID for the button is B1_XML, and clicking on this button will gather the content of the edit text here and the edit text here and send it through the phone via SMS messaging. So let's take a look at how that works. In the Project Explorer window, we'll open up the Java file and we'll look at the content here. So here's the library we're importing. We have the activity as our entry point. The onCreate event is going to bind the button. The event binding is expecting that this class is implementing the onClick listener interface, which means that there's one function called onClick that's prepared to respond to clicking on the button and respond to the event. So in the log file we're sending begin and end, and we're mirroring the two user interface controls or objects here in Java that also have IDs on the markup side. On the markup side we're using ET1_XML, and on the Java side we're using ET1_Java, but it points to the same thing. Next we grab a reference to the operating system default SMS text message manager, and we call a method called send text message, and we're passing in the value of the phone number and the message, and we're overlooking 1, 2, 3 optional parameters that we don't need to send a basic text message. So that's it. So in addition to authoring the code correctly, there's one permission that we need to grant. So the user has to approve this. Uses permission Android : name, and the name of the permission here, Android.permission.send_SMS. So without that we can crash the application just trying to access the SMS manager, and if the user approves the use of the SMS manager on the phone, then the app would be granted permission to send content through the SMS text messaging system. So that's it. So we have these three files: the user interface, the Java code, and the permissions that make this example work. So we're looking at the Android mobile phone environment and how to send SMS text messages. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the security permissions that need to be set before we send an SMS text message are defined here under Android manifest.xml. So we have this XML property called uses-permission, and we have this name, Android:name, that's the attribute. And the value that we need to set is this value, android.permission.send_SMS, which basically says that the phone, when we install the app, it's going to prompt the user, yes or no, can this app send SMS text messages? So without this one line of code in the Android manifest.xml file, during debugging, the app will crash. So this is a critical thing to not forget to do.